What is up, guys? Today we're talking about shorts, and I don't mean the clothing. We're talking about 3 or possibly 4 companies to short. So let's just jump right into it and hit it off with number one. Number one, sorry to say it, it looks like Snapchat is becoming the number one stock to short. I've been looking at graphs of this company, been looking at its price movement. It has had no positive strength really whatsoever, except the first or maybe was it the second day where it hit like $27 or something. After that, it's been on a decline. It's declined, I think, about 40 or 37% from its peak. There is not a good hope for Snapchat right now. Every time it kind of tanks, you can see that there are so many short positions on the stock that it kind of bounces back up really quickly, and that's very possibly because so many people shorted it that when it tanks, they're like, oh, time to get some profits, and they start covering their position, and they're covering, and it looks like the price is starting to skyrocket back up, when in reality it's just people just taking their profits, and then that's why the price came back down now. So number one company for me to short or avoid is Snapchat. I'm not really big on shorting companies in a bull market, but if I was going to do it, it would probably be on Snapchat right now. It's just, their financials are not there right now. Maybe, in a few years, if they're still here, they come up with new revolutions, anything can change. But I'm talking like in the next year or two, at least in the next year, their financials are probably not lining up. Next earning reports, I'm not seeing that company go up in price. I'm seeing, bad earnings probably coming out, and a lower price coming. Just I wouldn't be surprised if if Snapchat was at like $10 by say March 2018. That was my prediction from a different video. We'll see if it comes through. I'm not a guru or god. I could be totally off, but it's fun to throw out your predictions and see how you do as well. Next company to short, ALXN is still up there. They, like I said in my other videos, they have been suffering for a long time. That was a company that peaked and had a very high value, and although they're not like suffering in terms of financials and doing well, the price movement has peaked, and when a stock hits its valuation, its peak, it just has a large trend downward, and then it is undervalued, and then it comes back up and it breaks into new highs eventually, right? But right now it looks like it's still experiencing the turmoil of having peaked. Probably a lot of big investors in it from like when it was worth $250. It's at $120 right now. It had some price movement, bounced back up from like, it went from 130 to like 100, and then bounced back up to 130, and now it's, it looks like a short to me. I'm predicting that it's not going to be in the 120 range, within like 6 months, probably much less. Next company to short, well, it's actually still or avoid is actually still the entire oil and energy sector. I would not put my money into any of those companies. They have been really stagnant. Although some of them are doing great still, some of the companies are doing fantastic. The oil companies, some of them are energy companies are doing great in terms of financials. The stock market is not always a pure reflection of that. So right now, because of the cyclical nature of them, they are still down on their luck, and they've been down on their luck for a long time, and I would not recommend guessing that they're going to turn on their luck now. It's been a long time. Just play it safe, avoid them, try to look for the better industries right now. Fourth and final stock to short. Well, let's see here. We have Snapchat, we have basically every single oil company, and we have ALXN. So that's 3. I don't know why I said 4. I don't think I have a 4th, but there are actually 2 more companies. Let me just toss them in there. I know I just kind of did an edit jump. That's fine. Company 4, Ulta. They look like they're going into correction mode. Possibly not a short. Only time will tell really if they're going to come out of correction mode. Possibly not a short, but I would say certainly an avoid. It's in correction mode. You don't really want to be around that area. You don't know really if it's going to go up or down. just kind of a gamble. I wouldn't really go with Ulta anymore. That's like a makeup company. They have solid financials and whatnot, but it's just the stock price movement is just showing me it's an avoid. Now, the last one, Tesla. Tesla was doing great for a long time. They broke out from new highs. They climbed from like 300 or 320 to 388 or 390, and that is a solid amount of gains. Like if you were in it at the right time, I would have purchased it. If I was interested in Tesla, I would have purchased it around 320 when it was breaking the new highs, and that's when I would have held on until 20% gain, which is around about $64 in price. I would have sold at $384, which is possibly, really luckily, almost the peak of the gain. But my point here is generally a solid price movement upward is a 20% gain. Generally, a stock doesn't move more than 20% before correcting heavily. So unless you have a super winner. But Tesla looks like a stock that did well for a long time. It hit a solid 20% gain, and now it looks like it's in correction mode. So I would avoid it. I wouldn't short it. I would definitely not short it. You know, it has a future. It could possibly be one of the biggest companies, one of the biggest valuations, you know, to come, you know, out of all this hype for it. I don't know, but right now the stock I would suggest to be an avoid, but not necessarily a short, and definitely not a buy right now, because you know you'd probably just be biding your time while the correction takes place, and correction is necessary. So you know you don't want to just like say, oh, there's not going to be a correction, it's just going to take off and price again. I'm sure there probably will be a correction, and you probably don't want to be in the stock all the time while it's correcting. Anyway, those are the companies. That's what it is. That's how it is. If you like it, subscribe. If you subscribe, you better like it. And if not, then dislike it. And wait, I shouldn't be saying that. Peace out, guys.